Well, you know, when those sons of bitches, they get up and they tell you there's lies, there's real lies, and then there's fucking statistics. What is it? There's real lies, there's damn lies, and there's statistics. Some version of that. But you know what? Although they lie with the statistics and they make up a lot of bullshit, there's a lot of hidden information there that if you're looking for answers, if you're looking for proof, if you're looking for generalities or trends, well, we can find out a lot of information. But you have to have something to relate. If you're just talking about the statistics, it has to relate to something, right? You have to, like the scientific method, you have to deduce, a thesis. You have to have something. I guess it is a thesis, and then you have to do an experiment to prove or disprove your thesis, right? So when I'm out there walking around the streets and I notice that there's a lot of fucking empty houses and a lot of stuff behind fences, and not even behind fences, just empty lots that aren't being developed, and a lot of work sites that aren't having much work done on them, I get to thinking, how many people are not in BC anymore? And you see, the businesses in that area, there's less businesses there. And I'm talking everything from 7-Elevens to racquetball, like restringing of the racket places. There used to be 2 racquetball sellers in an area, and now there's only 1. You're like, how is it that back in 1988 there was enough people living in this general area that not only could you have a racquetball specialist, a tennis specialty store, but you could have 2 of them, on either side of the block. And oh, hey, I need to go check out rackets. I need to get this restrung. I'll go over here, and if one place is too busy, I can go to the other one. Because it used to be that busy in these areas. The 7-Elevens are closing down. Ones that are like adjacent the next block over from a high school. How do you fuck that up? Well, let me tell you. You borrow a whole bunch from your business to buy more houses, and you borrow a whole bunch from your houses to keep your business running. One way or the other, it hasn't been working out for people once the credit crunch comes. Once all of a sudden, oh shit, this stuff's not worth what we said it was on paper. All our little magical numbers. Ooh, looks like you owe a lot more than your business can bring in. Oops, you're bankrupt. You're defunct. But getting back to my point, they've been telling you there's a lot fewer people in Canada. And I can believe it because I see it right in front of my own 2 eyes daily. For years I've seen this and nobody wanted to listen. Oh, you're full of shit. Oh no, there's really more construction. Oh no, there's lots of jobs. Oh geez, You gotta shut up at the dinner table, get the fuck out. And such like this. But now that we've told everybody with our statistics that the liberals have flooded the country, well, they're always doing this, but 3 million, more than 3 million permanent residents, temporary residents, and imports in the last 3 years. But now this year they say there's 100,000 fewer total population. It's not that 100,000 Canucks have left Canada, folks. How many people have died? There was the COVID and the shots, and we're still dealing with the fallout from this. How many people have left? Well, last year alone, if they imported 1 million people, then 1.1 million have left. 1.1 million Canucks or expats have gone back home. How do we do the math on this to say, oh, we still need more houses? Huh, that's interesting. Should have 100,000 more houses. Oh, but we had too many few houses. No, you had too many houses 10 fucking years ago, you fucking jackasses. Think about it. 1 million Canucks have fucked off so that 1 million imports can show up and take your place. They cannot even import enough people fast enough to deal with the massive population deficit that is happening as the baby boomers check out, folks. The baby boomers weren't having as many kids. They weren't having a replacement amount of kids. That's why Pierre Elliott Trudeau, back in 1980, 82, 40 years ago plus, started the waves of the immigration. And they, since the 60s as well, had really upped the immigration. The numbers on the immigration were trying to catch up with the deficits of people not having the 2.35 replacement population children per couple. There's a lot of people from those generations, the silent and the boomer generation, that weren't having any kids at all. Some of them had 7 kids still, but there wasn't enough of people having more than 3 children to make up for the difference of the people not having kids, or only having 1, or only having 2 children. Because if you have 2 children and that's your wife, you've just made a replacement for each of you. But if your brother doesn't have any kids, then you needed to have 3 or 4. And just to average out to get to that 2.35. Well, wasn't happening. People were having smaller families. And they told you this. They said we need to import immigrants to keep our population numbers up. And now that the baby boomers are retiring and all shuffled off this mortal coil, well, they were 20 or 30 or more percent, depending on the area you lived in, of your whole population. And they're the number one house owning generation. So have they all left? No. The numbers coming out of the government are saying it's the younger, the child-bearing ages, generations, the younger generations of people. It's not retired people who are taking their retirement savings, earnings, and moving off to Mexico for 6 months out of the year. Like, we would say, oh, okay, that makes sense. The boomers are staying. The young kids, their children, the people who would be the future generations to take over, they're the ones who are leaving. And more than 1 million left last year alone. And they're not telling you this. It's probably more than that because they're lying about the numbers, folks. Do you know why these people left? Probably because the people who just showed up off the boat yell at you, get the fuck out. This is mine now. And they tell you, you're getting kicked out. I'm kicking you out of your own country. That's what's happened to me a lot. That's what I've had to go through living in Surrey, British Columbia. They definitely, and it's not just one group. It's omnipervasive throughout several different ethnic communities that all say, we're here to take over. And they are brazen and blatant and out in public about it. And they're saying, we want you to get the fuck out. How fucking racist is that? If you say to someone you don't like it here, maybe you should go back. But they're the ones who started complaining. those people who started complaining are the same ones who have told me and other people right in front of my own eyes to get the fuck out of your own country. That to me seems a lot more racist, especially when it's coming from people who are ethnic supremacists instead of Canadians who are mixed race. So 1 million people more. If they imported 3 million people in the last 3 years, more than 3 million people, they say, how many people have left or died of Canadian stock? Well, we know with the MAID program, the democide is real, folks. But there's another aspect to this. This is what I say, the remigration goes both ways. We want our Canucks back. And, there's a will, there's a way. And the remigration goes in both directions. But think about it, folks. Where did all the people go? Well, they've taken the advice of the invaders and nobody will help them. They can't get the laws in Canada to be functional for Canadians. So they've left because people showed up and said, get the fuck out, Whitey. And I've seen it right in front of my own 2 eyes. And if I go out to Surrey again and wander around and start listening, I'll hear it again. Sometimes it takes 30 minutes, sometimes it's in 3 minutes. But there's a race war, several in fact, going on in Surrey right now as we speak. But will any of the city council, will any of the police treat these crimes as actual crimes? No, because they're covering up the crime numbers, because they're covering up the details of the crimes. I myself have been the victim of racist attacks and been charged for holding people in a civilian's arrest with assaulting those people who were on camera assaulting me. The charges can't fly in an actual criminal court, but the process is the punishment, folks. And they're going to tell you to shut up about it. Well, I'm not going to. And I don't think you should either.